Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, continuing on after the rather confused end to the liberation of Leinster. I'll deal with that in a second, but I just wanted to make note of the most adorable war ever. A 0-year-old war leader, I think he's 0, fighting against a 5-year-old. To end the tyranny of the 5-year-old. This is why you shouldn't give armies to children. This is the son of Moll Neil, Grianghrafadóir's brother, and this is the son of Finn Uí Néill. Flann Sinna gave Connacht to Finn Uí Néill so that when Moll Neil inherited the Duchy of Connacht, he wouldn't get the two counties and become too strong. Moll Neil abdicated in favour of his son. Finn Uí Néill died, and his son has taken over. And I know it says war started 12 months ago. I know for a fact this war has been going on for years at this stage, because Connacht has been lit up like a Christmas tree for ages. So that's one of the wars that's going on in Ireland. One of the kind of the minor activities that's going on, as first Flann Sinna and now Grianghrafadóir turn their attention to matters beyond the Irish Sea. Now, as for this rather strange development, Flann Sinna, of course, went to war against Jedvard for the Jarldom of Leinster. In the last episode, that concluded, and we got nothing. I have two theories. One is that the troops from Ghana, which are still leaving the island, that they had managed to siege down this area. And even though we got up to 100% war score, or I think it was 90%, because we have a lifestyle perk that allows us to enforce our demands at that level, when we enforced our demands, because they had sieged down these areas, we only got the parts of Leinster that we were occupying, which was nothing. So that's one theory. The other theory is it's a bug. I'm not too sure. Maybe it's a feature. So that's one reason why I don't plan to play for... I'm definitely not going into the 1400s. I'm only going to play a couple of generations, because there's a couple of bugs at the moment. There's a couple of things that are going to be changed. New features that are going to be added. The Pope is going to be patched in as the head of insular Christianity. I have a couple of changes myself that I'd like to see made. So I don't want to go too far into a game and then basically just do an exact carbon copy of it again at a later point in time. So I do want to come back and do another series, maybe when a couple of DLC have been released and when some of those things have been patched in. So now that Grianghrafadóir is at peace for the first time in his reign, I think he's been on the Shamrock throne for 9 years, and this is the first time that he is at peace. Now he has time to take stock of his kingdom and where he is going from here. He suffered the family's first loss of territory. We lost our overseas holdings in Norway. I was preparing for a circuit of Norway. So we were going to do what Flann Sinna and his great general Diarmid did. We were going to land here in our Norse holdings, and we were going to do a lap of this mountain range and take tribute and enforce the calculations of Easter in these areas. Thankfully, it is saved. It has been saved. I imagine it will return to its bizarre Norse ways after a while, but for now the people are saved. And they are accepting the vastly superior methods for the calculation of Easter. But sadly, we lost that holding in the last game. And Grianghrafadóir is blaming Alba. He needed help. He called on his allies. The first thing that Grianghrafadóir did after he came to power was came in on the side of an alliance that he had just made to help for Orkney's independence war. Orkney is back under the Scottish crown, or the crown of Alba, so it didn't make an ounce of a difference. He attempted to call in his allies. They refused. Sweden took advantage of this. There was a confused end to the conquest of Leinster. Alba, through weakness, has begun to disintegrate over the last number of decades during the crazed reign of Constantine the Mad. Grianghrafadóir's son Congus was elected as the new king of Alba, and he was deposed after a year and then murdered shortly afterwards. So Grianghrafadóir, what's going on in his head when he looks towards Scotland? What feelings must he have? for the incompetence of the regime that has let the Isles push in and take huge chunks of the region. Infighting, family infighting. I don't agree with the idea of the MacAlpin and the Cead Cathach all being members of the same family, but as they are in this game, he's looking to distant branches of his family. One of them now sits as the king of Alba, warring amongst themselves, fighting amongst themselves, refusing to heed calls to alliances. They're a threat to themselves, and they're a threat to Ireland, as we saw with the inconclusive result to the war for the reclamation of Leinster. So what Grianghrafadóir is going to do is he's going to prepare his soldiers, he's going to prepare his armies, and he's going to begin digging in and reclaiming territory from Alba. He's going to wait until these numerous wars that Ser Verthach is in at the moment come to an end, and he's going to take a look at the scenario then. His wife has claims on this region here, and I was hoping that we could subjugate the Scottish crown, but it doesn't look like we can for some reason. Possibly because it's lost so much land it doesn't really even exist anymore. But we're gonna give it a couple of minutes. We're gonna wait for Grianghrafadóir's armies to rise back up, and we're going to start chipping into Scotland. Grianghrafadóir wants to bring this to an end. His aim is to take the crown of Alba for himself, to stabilise the kingdom, and possibly see one of his sons or two of his sons inherit the two kingdoms that he will stabilise and build, the Kingdom of Ireland and the Kingdom of Alba. But for now, Flann Sinna's immediate goal is to unify both of them, or I should say Grianghrafadóir's immediate aim is to unify both of them under his own command. As for Leinster, what are we going to do there? There is an old Irish saying, if at first you don't succeed, wait for the treaty to end. We're going to wait for the treaty to end, and then we're going to take a look at what the scenario is with Novgorod. But like I was saying, I don't think Grianghrafadóir would have attacked this region if it wasn't for the fact that his father was already at war with it when he came to power. His attention lies across the Irish Sea. He inherited this territory from his son, who was murdered. It shows that there's a pro-Irish faction here that wants to unify the Scottish and Irish crowns, and whereas Flann Sinna looked to Europe and looked to maintaining the alliance with the Western Franks, Grianghrafadóir is more interested in securing power in this region, which is why, like I said, he has married. Let me see. We have to go the other way around. Here is High King Grianghrafadóir. Here is his son and heir Cuchurcha Moore, and Cuchurcha is married off to the granddaughter of the King of Brittany, who of course went to war against Grianghrafadóir's father-in-law. So what must it be like for Hildeburg to see her son married off into this family? But of course, Flann Sinna, or Grianghrafadóir, I'm going to make that mistake for a while. Grianghrafadóir doesn't care. He wants alliances which are going to help him to dig into Scotland. And we should see in a couple of seconds, we might get a pop-up that he's gotten himself another wife. I'm looking for an alliance to basically get this piety penalty to go away. Too few spouses, minus 0.25, and there it goes, gone, because we've married a lowborn. I think she has the quick trait, so that's pretty much the only reason that I married her, was to make that penalty go away. It's entirely possible I might take a vow of poverty once we get some more money together to get rid of this piety penalty. So again, in Scotland, we see more alliances expiring because of infighting amongst themselves. A member of our family, Ser Verthach, has been taken prisoner again. So this isn't the first time that he's in and out of prison every 5 seconds. We took him, we captured him, which brought the Orkneyan War of Independence to an end. We captured him. Now he's been captured here. I'm sure he'll be forced to hand over Atholl to Inverness. There's 2 wars for Fife, and then Caithness as well. So there's going to be a big chunk of territory gone quite shortly. And there he's lost 1 war, and as we can see, the Isles now border Ireland again. For the first time in a long time, since I think they were driven out of Dublin I think it's the last time that they bordered Ireland. And so the electors have seen sense. They have seen sense to nominate Cúchurcha. Either they've seen sense to nominate Cúchurcha, or there is so much division that nobody can put forward an agreed candidate, and so Cúchurcha, 2 years of age, Cúchurcha Moore, named after his uncle, who was killed fighting the armies of his fiance's grandfather. Anyway, Cúchurcha is now nominated. A lot of people don't want to vote for him because he's just a baby. Minus 50. Everyone pretty much has a minus 50 to him. And everyone dislikes him as well. What about the 5-year-old? The 5-year-old hates him. So Moll Shocknail's son in Connacht absolutely hates him. Minus 100. I dislike. Not even I dislike him. I just hate everything. So yeah, we'll have to as Cúchurcha grows up, we'll have to see how we can make sure that we secure his election. And actually, to facilitate that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my council, and we're going to get our spy master, who I've actually been attempting to force her to take vows. So maybe it's a good thing that she hasn't taken vows just yet. And we're going to get her to find secrets. Where will we send her to find secrets? I think we'll send her to Thomond. We'll see what Conall is up to. Conall, the son of our great military general, who aided Flann Sinna in his circuit of Norway. He fought battles. He led the defeat here at Brittany, and then led numerous battles in Italy and in our mad campaigns in and around there. So Diarmid, our great general, utterly useless as a steward, so at least Conall is doing a good job as a steward. So the other thing I was kind of thinking about, historically the period from around 871, which would be the return of Olaf the White and Ivar the Boneless from their campaigns in this region of England, their return to Dublin and their kind of disappearance from history. I think Ivar the Boneless is supposed to have died in 874, and Olaf disappears utterly. But that period from 871 through to the I think it's 917 is known as the 40 years rest, pretty much. Once Ivar and Olaf disappear from history, Dublin goes into a massive decline, and eventually in 902 the Vikings are driven out of Dublin. They actually come across and settle areas here, and then they return in 917. A massive coalition, a massive army is sent against them. We have to go on our convoluted way of finding. Oh god, I've gotten confused. There's Moll Shocknail, there's Ead, and there is Ead's son. Who am I even looking for now? I actually found him just recently. Where has he gone to? Unless he's died. There, he died. So the last time that I found him, he was actually still alive. So this is Niall Glundov, who was High King of Ireland from 916. He replaced Flann Sinna as High King of Ireland in 916 on Flann Sinna's death, and he died himself in 919 at the Battle of Island Bridge. He died. The King of Ulster died. The King of Argyll died. The King of Meath died. The King of Brega, which would be around here, died, and the King of Northern Brega died. 6 Irish kings all killed at the same Battle of Island Bridge. It was a devastating loss, as they were attempting to drive the Vikings out of Dublin after they returned in 917. And so this period, from 871 to 917, the return of the Vikings, is known as the 40 Years' Rest, and we're kind of in our own 40 Years' Rest at the moment. The Vikings, while we've been terrified of them, they've been driven almost completely off the island. Novgorod has had its own problems. They haven't been doing much of anything up here in this region, because of course they've been driven out by the Welsh. And now they have been encroaching on the lands of Scotland, but this is why Grianghrafadóir is kind of forgetting largely even about Novgorod, and is turning his attention towards Alba and towards the Gaelic rulers in this region, as opposed to his father's goals of driving the Vikings out of Ireland. The Vikings. So So I think it's as good a time as any to begin our conquests. As you can see, Alba is still in a terrible position. It's up to 52%. People are entering the holy war for Caithness. The defenders are down to nothing. I was going to say we could have actually came in on their side there and given them a bit of a hand. But Fife is going to fall at some point in time. And what we're going to do is we're going to start. We're not even directing the main part of our attack in this region. Instead, we're going to start down here at the Earldom of Annandale, which is within the territory of the Kingdom of Alba. And we are going to declare a war to conquer the county. We're going to make sure it's Annandale. We're not going to have a repeat of the Norwegian incident, and we're going to declare war. So what I might do at a later point in time, as we carve out some land in this region, is I might put up a rally point up here. So we have found no secrets at court. He's being very good. We might put up a rally point here so that we can call in our armies quicker. But for now, we're just going to stay with our good old rally point in Athlone. Look at this, a brewing troublemaker. While I have come to expect mischief from my son and heir, Kukarka Moor, his creativity keeps me on my toes. When it is not a prank, it is a brawl, a disgruntled toother, or Grey's knees from an adventure gone wrong. He is a giant. He is a giant. He's gotten rowdy. +1 martial, +1 intrigue. Fantastic. Never a dull moment with a giant of a child. So we can see there that Ser Vertuk has lost control of Fife. He is down now to 2... Is he down to 3 counties, maybe? Yeah, there you go. That's pretty much it now. The full extent of Alba. We can't blame Ser Vertuk too much. Constantine contributed massively to this. But we could have stabilized this. Whoever it was that... I have to make sure that they actually go and fight. They weren't going to. Whoever it was that deposed... It was Donald II that deposed poor old Grianghrafadóir's son. Look at this. We don't even care about the battle that's going on. We're just going to start looking at maps. There is Congas, who was deposed by Donald II, and then on his death, Ser Vertuk inherited it. And Ser Vertuk is basically just overseeing the final collapse of this region. He actually has 2 counties there. He's just overseeing the collapse of this region. There's very little that he can do in general. And we'll be taking some of his land soon and solidifying Scotland. Solidifying Alba for the good of all of the Gaelic people of Ireland and Alba. And of course, just very quickly as we get a pop-up, the Gardariki holdings in the east of Spain. So you might remember that one of my... He'd be Grianghrafadóir's nephew was in line to, at various different stages, inherit Alicante or Valencia. Well, they've been suffering a lot of upheaval in the region. I think they've lost everything. All Gardariki territory is gone, or Novgorod territory. Sweden still holds a bit of land in here, but everything else has fallen. And then up here, it's conquest of Bavaria. Various different bits are splitting out. We helped Augsburg, and then there are a couple of different regions that are breaking out. Arnulf was doing very well in his war. It started to go wrong for him. That war has been going on now for 9 years. But Jedvar does find himself in a lot of wars, and there's a new one now. I think it's that doesn't look great. That doesn't look like it's going to go great. But there are internal wars in Novgorod proper, and any chances that we can get to help our son-in-law in Augsburg, we will take them. So there's some good news for Alba. At least they've managed to hold off and defend Caithness. And just in case anybody's wondering, here's poor Ruacán, who held our Norse overseas territory, and he is in the capital. Actually, a lot of our family members are in Alba. Archaea is here as well. I can't remember where he was driven out of. Urquhart has lost his land. I think he was in Oriel, and that was conquered by his half brother Molchach Néill, and then Molchach Néill abdicated for some reason. So I've no idea what Molchach Néill is actually doing. He is in Weekstown. Okay. Seems happy. Maybe the life of a ruler was getting to him. We're just about to finish our siege of Annandale. And we enforce our demands. So be it. And I take direct control of the territory. We'll stand down the army. And I've already set up a rally point up here in St. Johnston, which we will use in the next few minutes probably. So just going over the results of the Battle of Annandale, I see that one of my knights was killed, and he was my brother-in-law, and he was married to Orna. Orna was married earlier on to the Count of Byrne. Gave him a number of children, including I think he's gotten himself a county. That's nice. And here's one of the children is actually in our court, and like I said, I'm preparing him for the priesthood because he is sterile. But she's 46. We'll see if we can find somebody else to marry her off to, because I would like to keep this robust trait going. I don't think the child has it. He didn't get robust. He got sterile. That's a bad deal. So to usurp the Kingdom of Alba, we would need 14 counties. And I've done a quick kind of a count of where I think we can pick up counties easily enough. I think we can get to 10 before we start needing to take on either the Isles, Sweden, or Jorvik. There's been another change. It looks like they've all came together and they're supporting that drunkard for the High Kingship of Ireland. But we'll see if we can pick up those 10 first of all. And here is another. What I would like to have done is I would like to have been able to take the crown and demand vassalization. Now that's not happening at the moment. But here is another Ayrshire, another weakened area. They can't really put together a huge alliance at the moment, so they're going to be getting a visit from Flann Sinna from Flann Sinna's son and his big conquesting army, so they can put together about 705. We will declare war and then promptly forget what to do. So we will come to our rally point, raise all here, and other than our time in Norway, it's the first time that we're raising armies off the island of Ireland. Now we've had somebody join the war. That's a great contribution. We'll still bring our numbers up fairly high, and then we will march them in. So my wife is giving out to me. One of the secondary wives that I took after coming to power. You might be a high king, but you're also an abhorrent knave. Now, she is a drunken lunatic, so look. And you might be wondering why we're even keeping her around. Well, she has claims. She has claims that are going to be of use to us in taking... They're not really going to be of use to us, but I'm actually going to take one region for her claim instead of taking it directly, because, of course, we also have a domain limit that we need to kind of worry about. So, the next conquest will be for her claims. They'll come under the Kingdom of Ireland, but they won't affect our domain limit. But we do lose some stress from being given out to by our wife. That's kind of odd. So we've just gotten a pop-up that Annandale has given rise to Cathar populace, interestingly enough. And that reminds me that I need to do something very, very important. So we come to our council, we find our archbishop and convert faith in county. And I suppose we will start here. So the aim is, of course, to spread the insular Christian faith, to restore it to this region. We will at some stage look at taking Iona, the fact that we can't really build any buildings there, the fact that we can't build any buildings there, this is what I meant to do, is kind of a bit of a nuisance, but sure, what can you do? We'll speed this up, we will take Ayrshire, and we will move on with whatever's next. As my eyes meet Chieftess Christina's for what feels like the 20th time tonight, I know that I am not imagining things, even from the other end of the table. Her gaze feels as intense as the midday sun. She wants me, and I am terrified. Of her, of her husband, Chieftain Geralt, or of what I might do, I cannot say. So he's getting a lot of these. Is she trying to seduce him as well? Now we are trying to improve relations with our vassals, but this doesn't seem to be the way to go about it. I think we're gonna gain some piety, because we do need it, especially now as we are down. We're making a piety loss at the moment. It's just that sadism. It's causing lots of trouble for us. And there we go. We have our second county. We're beginning to slowly but surely carve up parts of what remains of Alba, what little remains of Alba. And remember, we're doing this for the good of Alba. We're doing this for the good of the Gaelic people, not for our own desire for power. So just giving a look at the moment to why people are or aren't supporting Cúchar Moore for the High Kingship. Lots of people saying there, you can see on the right hand side, that he is just a baby, so that's going to be a negative for a while. But Chieftain Geralt, my brother, the drunkard who rules Desmond, he has another very interesting reason not to support Cúchar Moore. He is evil. So if we click on Cúchar, we see that he is a rowdy giant. We see nothing about him being evil, unless Geralt is either out of his head on drink, or unless he knows something that we don't know. So as we can see, I'm up to my domain holding limit, but we want to keep the conquest going. So what we're going to do now is we're going to push for our wife's claim on this region here. So it'll give us a bit more territory in this area. So we're going straight back to war. We'll just wait for them to get up to capacity. It shouldn't be necessary to call in any allies. And hopefully they won't call in any allies. And saying that, they've already started calling in allies. Still staying relatively equal. They just have 100 or 200 troops more than us, but they're going to be in difficulties actually getting them onto the battlefield. We should be able to siege down the area, move on the capital itself, and possibly even take Ser Vertuk hostage for, what would that be? That would be the second time that we'd have him, so I'm not too worried. I'm not going to start calling in allies just yet. I think we should be okay. So speaking of not needing large alliances, here we see a large force coming in against us. 2,400 troops from Dornach. They're coming in against our 2,100. So it might be necessary to pull back and possibly see if we can call the forces in Brittany into the war, and if they will come up and aid us. So he will join us. We're pulling our forces back to Annandale, and there is the acceptance. He's bringing in 1,500 troops. So we'll see when they arrive. Those troops are just leaving straight away. They might be going to try and siege down someplace. And we asked him into a war, and he accepted, and he's after asking us into a war almost immediately. And he's making a claim on Lyon. I'm wondering if that's going to put us at war with anyone that we used to be allied to in the past. We will accept. We might need to call in another alliance, because of course now they're going to focus on their own war before they actually focus on ours. Let's see if Grianghrafadóir can call in any of the Scottish families. So the big problem with calling in the Scottish families is that in general they're all actually vassals of the guy that we're at war with, so they can't come to war. We could call the guy we're fighting against. We could call him in and ask him to help us in the war against down here. Oh, another trip back to Cornwall. Oh my god. But we're gonna chill here for a second. See if we can get any more troops. I don't think we can. The coalition against us has left. I'm not too sure where they've gone off to. They could be sailing around and possibly thinking about striking against Ireland itself. So we need to keep an eye on that. So we get our first diplomacy lifestyle perk. We're not going to think too much about it. We're just going to go and start opening up the route down to diplomat. So now we do need to zoom out a bit more to get a full idea of who is involving themselves in the war for my claim on my wife's territory. Our alliance looks stronger, but of course Brittany is in its own war, and that means that we don't have their full attention. I'm sure they're going to be involving themselves in other conflicts. Hopefully we can wrap this up quickly. I always say that. And maybe give them a hand. Again, it'll help to make them like us. So after the devastating defeat in which Cuchurcha was killed at the Battle of Cornwall, we might be returning there to help the people who killed him. This is the intricacies of Irish politics. I'm also not entirely too sure what's happened in this region. The Band of the Horn. I think I heard of one of their albums, actually. Are after forming, so this was Gwynedd. And now Ulster stretches across a substantial chunk of land. I'm not... Gwynedd looks to have split in half. Half of it has formed the Band of the Horn, or else this is it is a mercenary company that has purchased out the area, and the remaining part has become Ulster. For the crack, let's see, we can offer him vassalage. It's minus 109 to accept. That's an odd scenario. Not entirely too sure what these guys have done. But yeah, there you go. It's a very green looking map at the moment. That's what I like to see. So we can see our allies are coming up to help us. So these are not entirely too sure if my wife actually is the daughter of whoever she's supposed to be the daughter of, but I don't think anyone cares. And it's possible actually that the alliance is being kept going through her mother, so it doesn't matter whether she's of a different father or not. Those Norse forces have returned. They're not attacking us, but if we can siege down this place, as we will in a couple of seconds, we're going to go in and we're going to attack them with our newfound allies. Don't even know what side we're on now. So we drove them out of there, and we're going to try and catch this army as it's marching in. Oh, people are giving out about taxes. So this is a peasant revolt, I believe, in the worst place that peasants could decide to revolt. A region that has just seen an army of 4,000 troops leave it. Never. A peasant's lot is to serve their lord. We have a peasant uprising, rally the armies. I don't think you guys are even going to have an opportunity to rally. Well, that was a short peasant rally, or a short rebellion. My spymaster has came to me with grave news. While we do not yet know who, someone is plotting to kill my courtier, Sinead. Now, who did I marry her to? Sarah Vertuck, a champion of mine. They do have a baba. So we have somebody in the court that's trying to kill her. I'm not really too sure what the motivation there would be. So we will start at first principles. We will start with this peasant uprising. Oh my god, look at this. If we take you hostage, if we take you prisoner, it's going to be the same as the last dude. You're going to be my new marshal. Look at this. This is basically how people get jobs in my kingdom. They revolt. They convince people to revolt, and then when I capture them, they just give me their resume. So be it. And we will immediately, before we do anything else, we'll come to our court, we'll come down into our prisoners, we will negotiate your release, we will recruit you and demand your conversion. We've two others here. What is she? She's a Gaelic pagan. Your man won't accept the ransom. That guy's also a pagan, so if I'm correct, I can execute them without any penalties. It's your own fault. So if I'm reading this correctly, yeah, our allies have marched on Dundee, and we're going to continue up into Aberdeen. Briog, don't talk to me like that, Briog. Briog, we will come to our council. Our marshal is one of our best champions, and we will... There you go, Briog. I'm going to make sure he's not a champion, because he's not great, and we've had trouble with that, with champions getting killed every 5 seconds. I'm not entirely too sure what's going on over here. Connacht and Thomond are at war for something, and my poor brother, Uí Néill, was killed in the battle. Uí Néill had inherited Connacht, so he was the Duke of Connacht, the Count of Breffni. He abdicated in favour of his son, and has now died in his son's war. I'm not too sure. He's defending against Conall and his attempt to take Connacht. So basically, Conall is taking Connacht. I won't say I'm going to let that happen. More than likely, I'll try and take the land back off of him at some point in time. But these are the strange, petty little arguments that the family is getting into. Uí Néill was a potential successor. Rídhavna is how he will be described in his obituary. Royal material, somebody who could have ascended to the high kingship, but didn't, because he had been nominated. His name popped up a couple of times, but it never came to fruition. Bless them. The Norse are coming back with 2 large armies. We're going to see what the French do after they... I keep saying the French. These aren't... I'm just dreaming of the days when we had French soldiers at our command. I'll see what they do after they siege down Angus, but we might just siege down here, because we're going to get it done faster than this siege, and then we might bring our forces across and hit them. So Klingensburg is coming up to assist us. So we'll wait until we've sieged this place down. Possibly we won't even need to continue, because at that point in time we'll have what little of a capital remains. One big push there towards the end, and it should be just a matter of days. We're at 100% war score. We've taken Donal, Servertuk's son, hostage, or prisoner. He's already insular. And we will enforce our demands. And there we go. My wife hasn't provided me with a son, and her primary heir is probably a niece or a nephew or something like that. A nephew. I'm not too pushed about that. It's about welding together a large Irish holding in this region. I'm not too sure where our next goal is going to be. We could probably take this region, but then we're running into trouble. We're talking about hitting one of the major powers, most probably the Isles. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our army and we're going to march them down here, and we're going to march them. So I have to do it kind of in in dribs and drabs, because if I just right click down in this region, they will come in by sea, which is not necessarily something I want. So we have a baby in our court that we can't do anything with. Well, she's our niece. So yes, it's Rukon's daughter. So yeah, it's just basically negotiate her release. We're going to get some stress and some dread. We're releasing, or we're ransoming her off for a grand total of 3 gold. That's all he has. So he's not in a position to actually negotiate for the release of this woman. And this, of course, is Ser Vertuk's son. So what we can do is we can come to negotiate release. We could gain a weak hook on him. But what we're going to do, instead of the weak hook, we're just going to simply recruit him. And he's going to serve for some period of time as a knight. And we're going to keep him in our court as a kind of a free hostage. Maybe, do you know what? We will gain that hook on him as well. And we will negotiate his release. We'll see about keeping this one in prison for a short while longer. There's not really much that we can do with her. Stats aren't too bad. I don't think she has any great alliances or anything like that. So just the way we don't gain dread or lose dread or lose sanity or anything, we'll just keep her in our prison for a while. And there he is. Donal is now a member of our court. How handy. We have another daughter, Aileen. Sure. What are we going to do with Donal? Let's make sure he's a knight anyway. We actually do have a chunk of good knights, so I don't think he's going to end up too high up the list. I'm going to forbid Briog from continuing as a knight because we don't want him to get killed. As for Donal, absolutely allow him. And he's actually now became a champion. I am not too sure. Oh wow, we had this woman serving us as a champion as well, but a 5, that's not great. Can we demand your conversion? We can. She might accept. So I do have to go down through the list now of our expanded court and make sure that as many people as possible are converted to insular Christianity. And so yes, now we have Donal fighting for us as a knight. Donal, you might rule one day as a king of some make, shape, or form, but you'll have to shape up. And of course, here way up at the top is Carnoch. He's doing fantastically well. He's heading all the kill list for us. He is married to our daughter to try and preserve the giant trait. She has given him a daughter without the giant trait, but hopefully they'll have a son. So our spy master comes to us with more news. Somebody is now planning to kill our physician. So I appointed her as physician. I think in the last episode she tried flirting with me. So we're seeing somebody in the court is being weird. Ser Vertuk has given us what little money he has. Oh my god, the poor man. He's given us all his money to get one of his wives out of prison. We might just release the last one out of pity. So this woman is prepared to not a hope. I might imprison and execute you. Wait, she was a champion, a Cathar champion. So Donal got married to this princess of Alba. Oh no, she wasn't. Who was she originally? That's a very close marriage, and I don't think it does anything either. So House Downpatrick. Downpatrick is where the body of Saint Patrick is believed to be. So I think we're here. Yep. Oh yeah, we were fighting another war. I forgot about that. So our long march south didn't achieve anything for us. But maybe it made that guy like us a bit more. That was I hope that's put Brittany back together, because that would bring in a chunk of support for us. So we're now in a position to designate a guardian for Kukurka. First of all, we're going to see what they have him doing. Obviously, we're going to move him to a martial education. Choose that focus. His betrothal has been arrested. That's Orcs. Can educate the child. Let's see who would be the best to educate him. Donal is a brilliant strategist, fickle, arrogant, and he is temperate, which is a virtue in insular Christianity. There you go. For some period of time, anyway, Donal, the son. I should have done this. Donal, the son of the current King of Scotland, who we forced into our court. We released him from jail on the condition that he joined our court. We forced him into the army, and now we are going to Now we are going to make him teach our son the ways of being a brilliant strategist, and hopefully one day Kukurka will succeed his father. Now, of course, that's not guaranteed. If we come to the Kingdom of Ireland, if we show the election window, my candidate is Kukurka, who is ranked 2nd. Rank 1 at the moment is Geralt, the drunkard. But who knows how much longer that will last for. A lot of people do seem to like him. So lots of people don't like us, however, and to give a bit of a help with that, we're going to host a feast. Bit pricey. We do need to do it. We don't have anyone else that we can educate at the moment. So welcome, my friends. First feast that's been held since 910 or 911 when there was a big feast to honor the death of King Helgi. So I suppose that's why Grianghrafadóir is holding this one to celebrate his newfound holdings in Scotland. We have a bit of a disaster. All of the wine is gone, so merchants should still be in town, and guests get a good opinion, and we will lose another 50. So we're running low on money. But as long as we don't take that vow of poverty, we're getting 3.1 per month. Not the worst. Where is all that coming from? My domain and my vassal taxes. Chieftain Connell's eyes widen at my words. I've had too much. I try to get up wobbling a little, so apparently I've insulted somebody. Chieftain Connell learns of Siegfried's lover secret. I didn't even know about that. Apparently I did, though. And there is my big disapproving wife. Until next time, everyone seems to like me. Now, our level of fame is widely known. That must have been some party. For my level of fame to go up like that. So look at this for a marriage here that I'm going to arrange. My marshal, my actual marshal with 24 marshal. We're going to marry to a member of the Onuk Rahland. I won't make it a matrilineal marriage to keep that surname going. But she's 17, she's already wounded. She's a holy warrior and a brilliant strategist. And 11 marshals. So a medium chance of children. Hopefully that'd be great. That'd be great to generate some soldiers there. And one of her grandparents was killed in battle. My drunken brother, Geralt, he's my half-brother. He has stumbled out from under whatever rock it is that he's been drinking poteen for the last couple of weeks to tell me that he could help improve relations between myself and the guy that I have just stripped, 2 counties off of? Geralt, have you any idea what I've been doing for the last couple of years? Have you any notion of what this family's immediate diplomatic policy is? Geralt, just go back to the drink, Geralt. Just go back to the drink. It's a pity, because maybe he's making an attempt to sober himself up and he just wasn't listening. I'm going to take this one. There's a 53% chance that I will get some lifestyle experience. We might, oh no, King Sir Vertuk is going to like me even less. Oh no. And he did. That's exactly what happened. What I was just talking about before that was that I have managed to invite my poor sister to the court. Katrina, she has outlived her husband. She has outlived King Helgi, the man who took her as a concubine, and she has outlived both of her children. So her son died in battle. He was Norse. He was a son of King Helgi, but her daughter has also died. So she was married off to the King of Ghana to secure Ghana's support for two wars that Jedward was involved in. She has died from heart failure at just 23 years of age. So that is that entire Norse branch, that Rurikid branch of the family that we were worried about. That's all been wiped out. Ulster was a strange addition to the island quite recently. Look at this, Leinster. I'm not entirely too sure how it's happened, but this guy has declared independence from Jorvik, or not from Jorvik, sorry, from Novgorod. If we right click, if we come to offer vassalage, he will not accept. Base reluctance is -45. We're a different faith and a different culture group. Well, you're the one that's in the wrong, because you're on the island of Ireland. So we'll go up in the opposite direction. We will declare war. And like I said earlier on, if at first you don't succeed, conquer the county. They are vastly inferior, and we declare war. We will come to our red rally point at Athlone. I wish we could switch that around to make the green rally point go to Athlone. We will raise all our forces here. Now we'll close out this border, or this Common Gore. I only just noticed now my poor sister Orna has died. She was married to the Count of Bern, and her son is being trained in our court. I'm still hoping to make him a bishop of some make, shape, or form. He is doing the learning education, but he's becoming a much better diplomat. And I wasn't looking, but we've been called into a peasant war. Our forces, or our alliance in Brittany, is having trouble with peasants. Absolutely, we will accept that. But our ability to devote much attention to that, it just yet might be limited. So before we go and siege anything down, we'll see if we can attack this army. They're going to try and outmarch us. Hopefully we'll hit them before they leave. Oh, I don't think we have those movement penalties anymore. It was Flann Sinna who had the movement, or the movement bonuses. So I might need to get those back, actually. And we will march up into Garin. We've already captured somebody. We're trying to find out secrets. I'm trying to find out secrets in the territories of the other powers to see if we can force them to vote in line with us. It's not working out too well at the moment. So the peasant uprising was put down easily enough. We contributed absolutely nothing to it. There was probably no need of being called in at all. And after all of the trouble that has been caused to us by Leinster and by the Gardariki possessions in Leinster, it was here from Ossory that the push into Athlone was made. We're returning for the first time in a long time to Athy, Kilkenny. Where else was there? Was there massive battles fought? Just this general region. Oh, in Athlone as well, there was a number of massive battles fought. And after all the trouble that was caused, we're just putting down a tiny two-county, not even an alliance. So Chieftain Connell is having a great old time with Geralt. Geralt is our councillor, or our chancellor. He's our main diplomat. So maybe he's just one of these guys. He just shows up with a half ton of porter, and everyone's like, "Geralt, good man yourself. I'm dying for a drink." And they all just have a great old time. 910 troops coming in. I don't know, are they raiding or are they coming in to defend? They'll be kicked out in a minute is where they'll be going. And just very quickly, if we look at the slaughter at Ormond, again we see Ciarán was our top. It wasn't a big battle or anything like that, but he is married to our daughter Mora, and she is pregnant again with a child. So hopefully we'll be able to build a kind of a military family here. That'd be great. So there is some kind of a siege going on here. I'm not too sure what's going on. They might be attacking it as part of another war. I thought they were actually allies. It's a holy war. So yeah, Wales, the Devils, are coming in, or a bit of Wales is coming in to try to take Leinster in a holy war. Now we won't be tolerating that because we want it. So as soon as we're done sieging down here, we will come down. We will fight them. We will fight our fellow Christians because we want Leinster. Oh Jesus! Took the legs from under him. They're actually doing better than us. We're not doing great, but we did have vastly superior numbers. I don't think we... A different Ciarán was killed. And I forgot to check how poor Donal is doing. Poor old Donal. He's taking care of our son. We're dropping him into these wars. He's totally unprepared. He's not a great. He's poor. The poor lad. What must you be thinking? So Donal, of course, is the son of the current king of Alba that we forced to join our court. And after all that, after all the trouble, after me thinking that we were going to have to put together a massive coalition and possibly strike against the Gardariki homeworld itself, at the end of it all, this is what it comes down to. The Irish conquest of the Earldom of Leinster enforced our demands for the second time. I don't trust you. I'm told that I've gotten all these things. And I have. Ireland has grown again for the first time in a long time. I know we've conquered some lands up around here. But we have achieved poor old Flann Sinna's ultimate goal of driving the last of the Norse forces from the island of Ireland. Ulster is held by the Welsh. Dublin is held by the Welsh. And for the first time, the island is completely devoid of any Norse powers. We might have actual Norse rulers. They might be pagan, but I'm going to force them to convert in a couple of minutes. Oh wow! After the disappointment of the last episode, whatever went wrong there, but it turned out into to be a nice and simple victory in the end. We will stand down the army, or will we? We haven't. I'll leave them up just for a second in case Wales is able to redirect its war against us because it's a holy war. I don't think it can. I don't think they can redirect holy wars. What I meant to do very quickly was to come down and look at the situation here. So it looks like more parts. Actually, I think Tyrol is the only part, and here as well. They're taking chunks out of Bavarian Novgorod. So yeah, Jedvard might oversee the complete collapse of Novgorod power. And it is going to his brother. It's going to go back to his brother on his death. So we might be seeing the 40 years rest coming to an end. We'll stand down the army. And I think he has taken Ossory itself. Oh, has he taken all the... He's taken all the counties. So I might spend some time just thinking, because we're up to 6 out of 4 at the moment. Now what we could do, if we were desperately desiring to keep a hold of those, if I'm right, can I put our helping in the domains and just unpause for a second and see if that affects our domain limit? Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, I don't want to keep all these territories anyway myself. I'll put her back to assisting the ruler. And you might have seen there our realm. I put us up to limited authority under Flann Sinna. Once we get our vassals on side a bit more, we'll push for for high tribal authority, we have a lot of vassals who do not like us. Indeed, I think we only have one vassal who likes us, and that is our wife. I have no idea how you're a vassal. Is it because? And it is. It is. We've actually taken some feudal territory. I actually completely forgot about this. We actually have feudal territory now for the first time. So we have some very important. I was actually planning on giving these away, but I don't think so. I don't think so. We have to make sure now that we actually do manage to get this woman to convert to insular Christianity. I had made the offer at one stage that she demanded her conversion, and I refused because she wanted money. And what is the guy up here? You are insular Irish. Fantastic. Oh, there's our Archbishop. Sure, yeah, there's our Archbishop. That's fine. But there you go. What an episode it's been. What an episode it's been. After the disappointment, the slight little disappointment of the last one, where we waged war for Leinster, we took it, and then we didn't get it. And the reason there a while back that I said that now that we were illustrious, we could see what we could do is because I was planning to break our alliance with Jedward. Where's he got to? Oh, he's too far away to even negotiate with now. Oh my god. That is a major victory for the first time since the Norse troops took Loch Orman. They are too far away to be negotiated with. The Norse troops. But yeah, we'd have to have broken our alliance to have actually gone to war with him. Yeah, he's lost all his land up here in northern Germany. What would be modern day northern Germany? He's lost everything over here, and they're taking stabs at this place as well and knocking chunks out of it. That is fantastic. So there you go. The Norse have been driven from Ireland. I'm sure this has made massive ramifications or massive changes to how we're doing with various cultural things. In the next episode, or maybe even in between this episode and the next one, what I'll start doing is getting to work on converting some of the counties and maybe even checking who I'm going to give some of these counties to, which counties I'm going to give away. Probably with the money that we're making from the ones up here in Scotland, I'll probably give away Leinster to. I was planning on keeping the actual Duchy of Leinster itself, but we might see shortly enough. They have a good army, and I'm not too pushed about Dublin, but we might bring it to an end just the way that that Grianghrafadóir can have a duchy title. He's currently the Duke of Leinster, but we'll get him the Duchy of Meath instead. Or is he the Duke of Leinster? I thought he was going to take the Duchy of Leinster. Maybe it's been destroyed. It doesn't matter. But it's a bit awkward that he holds Athlone and he's the Duke of a county that he's not even part of. And we can see actually that Thomond has pushed up and has taken Connacht. So Fingoine, his descendants have been removed from here completely, and this guy continues on in power. Riacon, after his father Molchach Néill was killed in this episode, fighting against Thomond's claims on Connacht. So we will have to keep an eye on him. We will have to keep an eye on Thomond, on Connell. But then again, if he dies, we're going to see a split. So that's Confederate partition for you. It's great. Thank you for joining me on this episode. It was an exciting one. We've began pushing into Scotland. In the next couple of episodes, we're going to try to clean up these independent entities as much as possible and these smaller powers as much as possible. Now that we've seen a change up here, we're going to have to see what we do about Ulster. I'm not too pushed about actually bringing the entirety of the island of Ireland under the control of the High Kingship of Ireland, but definitely Grianghrafadóir's attention at the moment is being cast towards Scotland. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you all on the next one.